piece at a time, like memories we weave. In the heart of this workshop, we never leave. A little bit of patience, a little bit of care. Just like a good friend, you've got to be there. Sand down the rough spots, smooth out the lines, and what we create will stand the test of time. So here's to the hammers, the sawdust, the glue, but most of all, here's to friends like you.
What's up, folks?
Hey,
Back again.
How's it going?
Welcome to another edition of DeLand's handmade woodworking thing that we do.
The awesome and amazing, not the best, Professor Rusty.
Well, I mean, that's debatable, but, you know, I don't know. There's been people saying Rusty is the best.
So after last week's live, when you said everybody needs to go onto my videos and put Rusty as the best, my notifications blew up.
Nice.
They were like the fire behind you, Rusty. And I'm like, no, Rusty's not the best. And then Jay Creates goes and shares a clip of you saying that you were his spirit, or he's your spirit animal.
Yeah, well.
And I'm not getting any of the love. You're getting all the love. So this week I need some love.
Look, I am the Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson. All right. Everybody loved Ed. So here we go. You know,
yeah, but Johnny Carson was loved more than Ed. I don't know. Ed was pretty cool.
Ed was pretty cool.
Ed was, yeah, I mean, you might be right. So,
and he gave away millions of dollars.
If you put it that, well, yeah, I mean, he gave away the Publishers Clearinghouse. So yeah, I guess
no, it wasn't Publishers. It wasn't Publishers Clearinghouse.
What was it?
The American Family Publishers. But everybody, that's that what you call it effect, that Mandela effect. Everybody thinks it was Publishers Clearinghouse, but it wasn't. It was American Family Publishers or something like that. Anyway.
Then that goes to show how old I am, because I remember it coming in the mail saying Publishers Clearinghouse.
Well, I know. Anyway, let's go ahead and well, first we got to acknowledge the hundreds and hundreds, tens and tens of people that are watching right now.
10 to 10s. Yes, we're almost at double tens.
Right. We got Amy Jo, Carving Wizard, Grumpy's Laid Back Carving. Let's see who else. Jeff Dowdy, Ray and Sandy are going to be in there, but they're at a thing. SMWC Poker. You made them a wrench, so I guess Runic's in there. CNG Creations. Mike Stanifer, Dad. What's up, Dad? Baron, the Boss Lady, Electric Whittler. Plywood. What's up, Plywood? Kevin Durica, and probably some more that I'm missing here, but
John just popped in.
Boss Lady says, love the glasses. Thank you. And they are actually reading glasses. They're not just regular sunglasses. They're reading glasses, because I am blind, trying to see anything. So I figured, why not a cool set?
What is this?
Mediocre
whiskey review. What's happening, Jill?
Wow. What is up, Jill? Holy crap.
Man,
Long time no see, lady.
Even though we don't drink anymore, I love the amount of Whiskey Tube people that come over to check out this channel. Jill, I'm happy to see you. Okay, so let me do a little bit of house cleaning real quick.
Yes.
I sent out stickers to everybody that I got emails from. If you do not receive your stickers by next week, let me know, because I mailed out a metric shit ton of them. Probably 30 or 40 envelopes. So just in case going through the emails, I missed somebody, let me know. I'll be happy to send some more stickers out.
Everybody that sent you their address, I'm telling you, I got a badass sticker coming, but it's going to be next week before it gets here. And if you don't want him to give me your address so I can mail them out, just, tell him or whatever. But with y'all's permission, I would like to also send out my badass sticker. And whatever. All right, let's bring our esteemed guest, who is patiently waiting backstage, the one, the only Creationdust777. I gotta wonder, is he like a poker gambler? The 777? I don't know. Let's find out.
Hey, we'll let him explain 777, Rusty, but I know what 777 means. So, Josh, how are you doing?
Another Josh? Holy shit! How many Joshes are in this? There's like 10 of you. Holy crap!
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I said I was going to change my name to Josh.
Right on. So, Deland, you said that you know what it means. I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah. So for me, 777 stands for Christ. That's what I know the 777s are, because the 666 is the sign of the devil. And I've always known 777 to be like the sign of Christ, the sign of the Son of God, or the sign of God. So if I'm wrong, educate me, but that's what I've always known 777s to be.
No, that's cool to hear your take on it. And I think it's probably a little different for everybody, but for me, the number 7 is the number of creation. So Genesis, God created the world in 6 days, rested on the 7th. We're all about creation and creating, and we're created in the Creator's image. So that's kind of the meaning behind the 7s.
Oh, there you go. That was a much better way of putting it than 777 is the sign of God. But yes, no, that's awesome.
But it also means jackpot when the one-armed bandit, and you get some money. No, dang it. All right.
Wait. Let me ask you, Rusty. Tell me about your hat. If anybody asked you about your hat?
Yes, everybody asked me about the hat. The hat is from AmericanHatmakers.com. It is called the Marlowe. I bought it plain. My wife made the hat band for it. And
did you kill an alligator or something to get the hat band?
Yeah, she killed a plastic alligator to get his plastic teeth. And, yeah. So yeah, I get compliments on it all the time. It's full leather, handmade. I wish they were a sponsor. But it's quality, huh?
That's a hot hat. I'm envious.
Yeah, man. It's and they make different level. This is the lowest level. They make them like freaking way up here, and but yeah, I seen one and I was like, I gotta have one. They're not expensive. I mean, considering it's handmade, they hand make them all. It's like $160, I think, right now for the plain Jane, no hat band one. And they also, and I've been thinking about getting one. They got one that's in a light brown kind of leather, that I don't know what it's called, but it looks really good. I've been thinking about getting one of them too and changing it up every now and then.
I will say, Rusty is probably one of the very few people that can pull that hat off. I mean, he truly does look good in it. And I've seen him without it. He is much better off with the hat and the glasses.
That's not a wig, is it, Rusty? That's your real hair hanging out back there?
That's real. So in 2020, I have another podcast that I'm on that we've been doing for several years. and our sponsor is warhorselegacy.org. It's for soldiers and stuff, you know, fighting PTSD, that kind of stuff. And to raise money, I shaved my head. I raised $1,000. I completely shaved my head, my face. My wife waxed my chest. It was not a good thing, but I raised $1,000, and from that day on, I have let it grow. And this is where it's ended up. And I am challenged. I have challenged the people, if we can raise, and it'll never happen, thank God. I have challenged, if they can raise $2,000, I'll do it all again. I shaved it all off on camera. I said I'd do it again if we raise 2,000. I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
There's a lot of people in the tribe. I bet we could raise that.
Oh God.
Little known fact. I actually had a ponytail until I think I was 35. So a lot of people don't know that. That's probably a cool thing, but they got a picture over here. See if Casey can find a picture.
Oh, Rusty, Ollie's asking where to donate to. You might be onto something. But let's get on to Josh. Josh.
Yeah.
Tell us something about your channel. Act like nobody in the chat has ever seen your channel, and just give a breakdown or a rundown of why you chose chainsaw carving and why you're so passionate about it. Now, there's one thing I will say is the name of your channel and your explanation for the 777 completely makes me understand how I kind of feel about you. I kind of feel like you're a very humble person. And I don't think I'm wrong on that, but just listening to you speak, you're very soft-spoken. And you're very humble in the words that you use and some of your descriptions. So just, tell everybody about your channel and how you got into it and why you're doing it.
So I've been carving 28 years. I actually started when I was 20 years old. And I had an uncle that was a wood carver, and he originally owned the wood carving property where I am. So I worked with him. I guess the wood shop's been here, I'm going to say 35 years. I worked with him for a few years and ended up buying the property. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started, and I exploded from there. I didn't need much money when I was a young guy. I used to come up here and I had a 3-cylinder Subaru Justy, it was called. And a lot of times I wouldn't have gas money to get home. I'd come up for the weekend with my sleeping bag, and I'd plan on camping out until I sold something so I could get some gas money. So it was very humble beginnings, I guess. But just love carving. I love creating. Passionate about what I do, and I think YouTube has breathed new life into it for me. It's just put a level of excitement back to it. I love hanging out with the community and just a lot of good people. So
yeah, and the community has been awesome. I don't think you could ask for a better community. And kind of like we were talking about, backstage, cross promoting everybody. That is one reason why week after week, as we add new guests, we don't remove the past guests from the opening, because that's just one more way to try to help promote other people and other channels. Because like we were saying, people do watch these lives after they're done, and hopefully, maybe it'll help other people gain some subscribers. But this community is completely awesome.
And it also helps Deland remember who we have with his, early onset dementia. It'll help him remember the order of, because he's old and stuff.
He's not wrong. I think I'm the oldest one in the room. So
yeah, he's a good 10, maybe even 12 years older than me. Yeah, he's pretty old. But
52. I'm not that old.
I know. I'm the same age. Anyway,
don't put me in my grave yet. I'm not ready to go. So awesome. I'm going to go ahead and share something. So I'm going to take control of the screen for a moment.
Is that right?
Because I love doing this. StreamYard presents.
He's an angel. Baby kisses. Whatever.
We love baby kisses. He's the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Right in the old eyeball.
So I shared that clip because I want to make a point. If you watch Creation Dust Josh's videos, you know he's legit. There's no question he is truly one of the best chainsaw carvers out there. But once the man broke out the scaffolding,
Yeah, right.
all right, that took him to a whole another level of legit.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, there's an element of danger in carvings that big, because one wrong move and it falls over on you, it's going to kill you. So you know, there's a one of that aspect of it. Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. All right. Do you have any questions you would like to ask us?
Well, let me just say thank you. Thank you. It was a fine compliment. And also thank you for having me on this evening. So it's cool to hang out with you guys.
Oh, you are more than welcome, and you're welcome anytime.
Absolutely.
Yep. Where from?
What's that?
Where are you from? What state are you in?
I'm from Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah. I'm in Alabama.
Okay.
Alabama.
Right on. I think that's where Rhinestone Suzanne is.
Yeah, she's in Huntsville. She's like about 3 hours from me, I believe. I think she's in Huntsville. Yeah.
So if you don't know about Rusty, Rusty is the YouTube internet stalker. He already knows how many swings Suzanne has in her backyard.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know what her address is. I didn't look it up. I don't. But if I did know, I'd look it up.
Now, what do you do, Rusty? Is this your full-time thing, or?
No. I was a log truck driver for 23 years. And I just recently last year give that up because, well, for one, the wood industry is taking a dump right now, and I'm glad I got out when I did, because it's not good right now. The logging paper industry is hurting a lot of people right now. But so right now I'm working at a hospital. I put in to work at a hospital because I needed benefits. I mean, there's really no benefits unless you're with a really huge trucking company. There is no benefits in truck driving, and I'm 50 years old. So I was like, I got to start building a 401k somewhere. And so I'm on at the hospital. Brain surgeon, of course. Okay. All right. So I turned that down because, I was like, yeah, I'm just not ready. I'm almost there, but no, I'm in environmental services. I get a title, janitor. Yeah. So.
But like I was telling Rusty, it's a legit job, and he should be happy that he has that because there's nothing wrong with that.
I love it. I love it. I mean,
I work with truck drivers. That's I get my logs from log truck drivers. Primarily, people would think maybe you go to the mill or deal with the logger, but I literally deal with the truck drivers. You know, they grab stuff on landings for me. We use a lot of stuff that's like rejected from the mill. Sometimes has that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
And let me respond to Kevin for a second. So Kevin, it's not the fact that I'm almost Canadian.
Yeah.
You are almost an American. So let's get that straight. All right.
Oh, he's over in the Canada, eh?
Yeah, and he puts in chat, he told Bear that I'm almost Canadian. No. You're almost American.
Yeah.
So we won't fight over that. But the next city that's going to be named in Michigan will be Canada. All of it. But anyways, so do you have a favorite carving that you have done? You have so many videos. What do you think is your favorite? And did it make a video or did it not make a video?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I think I enjoy the hand carvings a lot. So the small faces and that kind of stuff. I've done with chiseled and gouges. I will say one of the cooler carvings I did was a 40-foot tall Indian head.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's no longer in front of my wood shop, but if you look at my early videos, you can see it sitting out in front of the wood shop there.
40 feet?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, okay, I'm trying to think of this. The average floor in a house is, say, 10 feet, right? 8 to 10 feet? Or
the story, yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking almost 4-story carving?
That's crazy.
Wow.
So how do you get that into perspective? Like, how do you you're standing right up on the thing and you're carving on it. How does that work?
That's an awesome question, Rusty. And that's honestly, that was one of the biggest ordeals of it. When you're carving a nose that's 6 feet long and you're standing right in front of it. I had six stagings, six lifts of scaffolding built up around it.
Wow.
And so climb down, run out to the road to the front of the driveway and look at it from a distance. So it was a lot of up and down. And I was a younger guy and just kind of foolish doing crazy stuff. But yeah.
That's awesome.
What even made you think to want to carve something that big?
So there was a guy that carved one for all 50 states. I'm trying to remember his name. It's going to come to me. He wrote a book called Indian Giver. And you remember who that was? But he carved a Native American head, and he carved one for every state, all 50 states, and he donated it. So he went on site and carved it. And Peter Toth was his name. And so he kind of inspired me. He was doing really huge carvings like that on a big scale. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, how long did it take you to actually complete that?
So it was a big enough project that I literally couldn't set the time aside for it. And honestly, some of my projects are like that even now. I have an eagle that, it's tough to take 2 months and focus on a project that you don't know if it's going to sell or when it's going to sell. So those bigger projects, typically I'll put in like 1 day a week and then spread it out, But I think I worked on that 1 day a week over the course of a couple of years.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So with this big wood, I guess it really happens in all wood. It doesn't matter. But how do you deal with the drying out and cracking and moving of wood? So like when it's fresh or I'm guessing you let it set for 6 months and do what it's going to do, I guess, but it doesn't it over time still there's a certain amount of movement and expanding and contracting. Are you sealing it? What happens with that?
So basically, my logs are big enough that they're never going to dry out just sitting outside.
Right.
No, actually, you have a 3-foot log. The center of that will actually start to dry rot in the middle before it'll actually dry out. So
Oh, wow.
there's no great way to dry them completely as a log. So cracking is definitely something that we deal with. Typically, I let the log sit for a couple of years, about when the bark is starting to slip, peel off. So they're seasoned. And I'll go ahead and give a little tip for other people that may be trying to pick stuff up for chainsaw carving. I try to start with big rounds, and then when you cut the wood in half, and then create 2 carvings, one out of each half, and that relieves a lot of the stress in the wood. So cut it right straight through the center, through the heart, and then put the front of your carving in towards the center of the log. The heartwood is a lot drier. The outside of the log, where the sapwood is where the tree sucks up all of the moisture and stuff like this, nutrients that the tree needs to grow and live. So that those outer rings, that sapwood is usually really wet. As the wood dries, that those cells in the wood literally shrink, and so they begin to contract and shrink, and that's why you have cracks opening up. So wood doesn't shrink lengthwise; it shrinks, I guess. What would you call that? Radius?
Yeah. Circumference. Yeah.
Circumference. It wants to shrink in. So basically, if you put the front of the carving in towards the center of the tree, if you get cracking, a lot of times it'll be along the backside of the carving. I will say, when we do get the significant cracks, it's typically carved out of a whole round. So you can't avoid that with some of your bigger carvings and bigger pieces. You can't find a tree big enough to split. For those bigger carvings, you got to use the whole round.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and I have to say hello and thank you to the channel members, because that's part of the perks. So Amy Jo, Rhinestone Susan, Melissa Downing, and Jay Creates and Oli Makes. Thank you guys for being channel members. Part of their perks is getting called out on a live stream, so I need to make sure I do that. Does anybody in chat have a question that they would like to ask Josh?
Or you could actually call in to the show. Yes, the phone is plugged in and turned on. You can actually call in and talk to Josh. Like, he'll hear you, and you can talk just like you're talking on the phone. Yeah, call in. I guess I need to throw that number up.
Yes, you do. And thank you, boss lady. That's awesome.
There we go. Call in with questions, 256-926-2390. And that's my radio puke voice. Call in and ask him. I'm hoping maybe like Trump or Elon Musk I bet they could they might call in. They've been known to call in. I don't know. I mean,
Mr. T's out.
Mr. T, yeah, I think he's on vacation.
They're getting Mr. T drugged to get him on a plane because he's afraid to fly.
But yeah, there's Michael S. He jumped in there. Hey, better late than never, Michael.
Yep. So does anybody in chat have a question they would like to ask? So I'm going to ask something while we wait. I have heard the reference when it comes to carving, relief cuts. And I'm going to ask what a relief cut is. I've been dabbling in some Dremel tool carving and trying to learn that because it's just been so inspiring through this community. But what is a relief cut in a chainsaw way, and what is it for?
So maybe I don't know everything there is to know about chainsaw carving or correct lingo or terminology.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I would reference a relief cut, or I guess in my mind or my imagination, if you have an area that you're trying to clean out, then maybe you make smaller cuts in that area and knock out the smaller chunks instead of bringing it out all in one big solid piece. Sometimes places are inaccessible, but I guess that would be my stab at answering that question.
Okay.
So my understanding, and I could be wrong, my understanding is a relief cut and or a relief carving. So when you start off with a flat piece of wood and you're taking out chunks and leaving other chunks, that is a relief. You are taking the background away or whatever from the picture as it is. So that's my take on what a relief. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody else. Let's see. We got Bourbon Hunter Lee.
Yep. And there's a couple questions. So let's get to these questions.
Okay. All right.
So let me scroll up a little bit. I believe one of the questions was, what are the red things behind Josh? And I think I know what that answer is.
So that is, it's actually mushrooms that I've been, I carved them on the live stream. And I don't know if you guys said they're like 6 feet tall, something like this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We do have a caller. Caller, just hang on for a minute. Those are very cool.
There's one more question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Will Creation carve a shark?
A shark?
A shark, yes. And more importantly, a baby shark. Baby shark. Never mind.
Yeah, so that was on my to-do list on the Florida trip, and I didn't get to it. So I guess never say never, but there's no plans in the immediate future.
Cool. All right.
One more.
Okay.
Only because once the chat keeps going, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
When selecting wood, are you looking for new species that you know work well, or do you sort of shop around for interesting pieces?
So for the chainsaw carvings, I'm having my logs trucked in by the log-in truckload, and I prefer white pine. So when I call up the log truck driver, he's bringing me a load of 100% white pine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I do have other types of wood. Some of our soft maple here is real pretty. We have some nice cherry, but if I want to do like try and do like a higher end carving, a lot of times I'll pick a piece of hardwood. The maple's nice, but mostly I'm chainsaw carving pine. I will say, I like picking unique pieces out of the forest for my hand carvings. So like pine knots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I do have a video on pine knots, how to find pine knots and carve pine knots.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So we have a caller patiently waiting. Caller, state your name. Where are you calling from? Hello.
Hello. This is the President of the United States.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Oh, it's President Trump. Oh, we are honored. Yes, we are so honored, sir.
I can't get over the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, on hold.
Yeah.
I mean, are you serious?
We have a pretty important guest on, sir. So, yes, you had to be. I know you had to be put on hold, but thank you, sir.
It isn't going to cut it with the Democrats. That's the truth. It's not going to cut it with the Democrats. And I got to tell you, Rusty, I heard you're singing your baby shark, and I got to let you know, you are the reason that abortions are up in Alabama that you're singing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you got to knock that off. I'm telling you, you can't do that. More abortions are up in Alabama.
Wow.
You're singing.
Mr. President, don't be so controversial, sir. Do you have any?
You got to knock out the abortions. Yeah. Quit singing. But anyway, we didn't call in to talk to you. We called in there to tell Creationdust777. We're going to thank him for making wood great again. We just appreciate everything that he does. He does a really good job in Wolfdale, and I'll tell you, he's up there in Michigan. Michigan is a horrible state. Have you seen what the Democrats did to Michigan? I mean,
it's terrible. Look at that.
They absolutely ruined the state. But thank God for Creationdust777. He doesn't live up there in Michigan. He lives up in New Hampshire, and I'll tell you, I didn't win New Hampshire. It was very depressing. I don't understand. They had a Republican governor. I don't get it. But you know what? You can't win everything, and we just won't give them any money to fix the roads this year. It's just the way it goes. No reciprocal. Maybe we'll even tariff the state.
They'll never fix the roads in Michigan. Never.
Let me tell you,
I don't know why they would.
the money that you're giving Michigan to fix the roads,
Michigan.
it's going to Canada because we're not getting the roads fixed.
We'll take Canada. Trudeau could have Michigan. Michigan just belongs where Canadians should be anyway. Seems like it should fit. Except we really like John, we like Kevin Dorica. We want to keep them. We want to keep them south of Michigan or north of Michigan or south of Michigan, preferably south of Michigan. But we didn't call in to talk about what I'm doing, what you're doing. We called in there to tell Creationdust777. Thank you for making wood again. We really appreciate what you're doing. We really appreciate what you're doing for the state of New Hampshire. Anything you can do to help the state of New Hampshire. Because, boy, I tell you, I lost that state. I'm really upset about it. It hurts I think about it every day. And then I'm just not going to give them any more money to fix the roads or anything else.
There you go.
Rusty, you got to promise me you won't sing anymore.
Yeah, and let me say something real quick. Jeff, this is all in fun, so don't get too offended. Everybody here are friends, and this is a comical moment. So I don't know if you're sad that it's not truly Trump, but let's just go along with it.
What do you mean? That's not Trump?
It might not be.
I'm pretty sure that's Trump.
What do you mean it isn't me? What does it mean? You want me to bomb the state of Michigan and start with Taylor?
You're going to have to
Taylor, Michigan. I'll just drop bombs on the whole state.
There you go.
Get rid of it. There won't even be anything left.
You're going to have to send the Secret Service out, sir.
The only good thing in Michigan left a long time ago. I'm not sure what it was. I flew over it once, and it smelled really bad. I just kept right on going. But you know how it is. Anyway, we got to get back to work. Elon's wife is calling me. He's got an electric wife, and I don't know if she needs her battery charged or what's going on. So you guys have a good night. We appreciate it. We appreciate Creationdust777 making wood again. And Rusty, please don't sing. We don't need any more abortions in Alabama. We don't need any more.
Thank you, Mr. President, for joining us. Where did Rusty go? Did he fall?
Good night. Good night. You guys have a good night.
I think Rusty fell and he can't get up. So yes, does anybody else in chat have questions for Josh?
I'm gonna, the thing that I haven't thought of, Mr. Trump, President Trump calls fairly regular, and I am gonna have to get, the president has a theme song, dun, 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 and I need to play that every time he calls so that we can honor our Mr. President. But anyway, I gotta write that down. All right. Anyway, thank you, President Trump. Whatever. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah. Bear sent that. President Trump sent that to me. I actually got that in the mail today. So thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Not many people know this, but President Trump is really a good wood carver.
Yes.
I know, you know what? You guys, that was actually Trump. I don't know why you're talking about this like it wasn't President Trump, and I'm highly upset. All right, so I got a question about your chainsaw. So the little what is it? A 14-inch blade or a 12-inch or a bar? What is 12? Is that's really basically for carving, right? Because I see lots of guys doing it, or is it just one that everybody just adopted as a bar?
It's a 12-inch standard carving bar, and most people carve and have a carving bar. They do make them in different lengths. You can get a 14-inch, or I think you can get 8-inch bars, that kind of stuff. But yeah, 12 inches.
We have another caller coming in. Yeah, caller. Thank you for calling the show. State your name. Where are you calling from?
This is Princess Diana.
Princess Diana. What? Calling from beyond the grave. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. How are you feeling, Princess Diana? Are you all broken up?
I am not. I am not. But I do have a question.
Okay.
Can we get the whole tribe to really, really promote MWGA?
Making wood great again?
Yes.
So here's
Go ahead.
here's the thing. And yes, you do hear it all around the tribe, the make wood great again. But I really think make wood great again falls somewhere between Bear and the Boss Lady and Amy Jo, because truly they came up with it on one of the lives. So if you're promoting make wood great again, you truly have to promote Bear and the Boss Lady and Amy Jo, because that's where that whole thing came into play. And I would like to say real quick, Greg Reynolds, thank you very much for becoming a member. I truly
awesome.
do appreciate it.
Now,
So-
I do have one last question.
Okay.
This is for Josh. Josh, what is your favorite carving that you have ever made?
Yes.
Man, that's a loaded question. I guess maybe my eagle. There's a video for the eagle. I would say that's one of my favorites. So I've got a 6 foot, actually it's more like an 8 foot eagle. You guys can see that or not?
Wow.
And when did you make this?
Oh, this is like, I don't know. I lose track of time. It's horrible with time. Like, I have people stop in my wood shop, and I don't leave here sometimes for days at a time, and I don't know what day of the week it is or what time of the day it is. So I live kind of a little bit different. People think I'm retired because I don't know what day it is and what time it is. So I lose track of that kind of stuff. But it's been within the last, let's say, last 5 or 6 years I carved the eagle. We went to Alaska. We studied eagles up there and did some salmon fishing, that kind of stuff, and made a video. So it's one of my
Nice.
favorites. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Well, thank you guys, and enjoy your evening.
Have a good night, Princess.
Thank you, Princess. Wow, we got a call from beyond the. Maybe it was a different Princess Diana. I don't know. So, all right. So let me ask you this: Do you ever seal your wood off? Like, are you using any epoxy resin or anything like that? Do you find that? Do you use that, or are you just using what are you using to seal and decorate your wood, that kind of stuff?
So I think the primary product that we use is CWF UV. It's a flood product. You get it through Home Depot. CWF is clear wood finish. But that goes on most of the chainsaw carvings, like the bears and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We work with polyurethanes. I like Minwax Helmsman Spar polyurethane. So if I'm going to put a shine on a carving or something like that, that's kind of my go-to. I work a little bit with epoxy, but not a ton.
What
Okay.
kind of polyurethane do you choose to use? Because some polyurethanes will yellow your wood and your project. So do you go with a clear or you go with a specific type?
So the Helmsman Spar, I believe, is oil-based, and that definitely yellows the wood. And that's actually an awesome question. That's one of my go-to things. For example, when I carve the eagle, I use the Helmsman Spar on the beak because it can to yellow it. And then the white feathers around the net, I use water-based urethane, which keeps the wood looking more white. So you get these subtle contrasts between the oil-based urethane, which yellows and ambers areas like the beak, and then the water-based keeps it looking white. So it's without staining stuff, it's a good way to tint wood and get different effects.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about the different polyurethane. So that's good to know. Good to know.
Yep. So I'm gonna grab something real quick, and unfortunately, I screwed it to the wood or the wall before the show. Now I want it because I'm going to show you, Rusty, and everybody, what I was just talking about.
Yeah. Take your time. I need to ask. So, what is your worst video. What is your worst carving? It was like, I don't know what the heck I was doing. You know, I just kind of threw this out there, carved it up. It didn't really turn out, but what would you say that is?
So my worst video as far as the carving goes?
Sure. Yeah.
I would say some of my earliest videos. It's amazing how quickly you progress. Both Casey as a videographer and your editing skills. And it's been a cool journey. I mean, it reminds me a lot of carving, chainsaw carving, that kind of stuff. There's a real explosive growth. And I've watched people like Bear. That guy has just gotten super crazy talented in such a short amount of time. But just the explosive growth of, coming up on bigger levels. And so we're kind of experiencing that with our YouTube and our videos. And I know with carving, you definitely kind of hit a plateau where those gains get a little harder to grab. I mean, you're looking for little nuggets. And
right.
I will say there's like a level of mastery with carving. I think after like the 20-year mark, where it's almost like another explosion of growth. You start to put things together on different kind of levels. And it's kind of a tough thing to put into words. But our videos are kind of like that. So I would say my earliest videos, I feel us going through that kind of crazy growth with our editing and stuff. And I feel like we're in the explosion phase. So every time we plateau with it.
All right.
I'm gonna show you something real quick. So this is like my second carving, and it's because of this community that why I did it. Now, talking about the different polyurethanes, if you look, this was painted white, but when I put poly over it, it changed it. It changed the color to more of a yellowish, but I didn't get poly inside, and it's still staying white. So can you see the difference?
Right.
So that's what we were talking about, Rusty, with the difference.
Right. So I got to ask your videographer, Josh, or your editor / videographer. Do I get like a thumbs up for the intro? All of the different, I kind of work. Do I get a thumbs up for that? Because I'm new and all that stuff. Yeah.
You totally got a thumbs up, Rusty.
Cool.
Yep, right on.
All right.
So Bear, no, I do not have a nose ring. And does it look like I have a nose ring?
I did. I think it kind of what do you have a nose ring? Yeah, there it is, Bear.
I don't know. But hey, we've only got about 12 minutes left. So truly, if anybody else wants to call in, or if anybody wants to jump in, I shared the link. So we've got about 12 minutes left. If anybody wants to jump in,
we'll go out, I guess, with I have these weird questions that really don't have anything to do with anything, but whatever. All right, Josh, if you had to describe your current life as a movie, which movie would you choose?
Oh, man. Guess
are you like a Die Hard, or are you like what is that, something Bridges kind of deal? What is that called, that Clint Eastwood Bridges of Madison County? Are you like Bridges of Madison County, or are you like Die Hard?
More the Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know about a movie, but if I were going to put it into a word, I would say relentless. So
there you go.
I had my fair share of kickdowns and setbacks, and I always seem to struggle back up to my feet and keep going. So, yeah.
Awesome. And John wants to know, I think it was, what is your favorite wood to carve?
I love carving cottonwood bark.
Cottonwood, yeah.
Stuff, the bark, it just carves so nice, and carves easy. It holds detail well. Usually with different types of carving wood, there's compromises. Maybe it's beautiful wood, but it's hard as a rock, or maybe it carves easy like basswood, but it's just kind of plain Jane. There's no grain. So the cottonwood bark is got beautiful grain. It carves like butter. And here's a piece of it here. The Native American face I did. This is Canadian bark, so it's really nice thick bark.
I'm gonna solo you.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's I would say if the bark has a flaw, it's a little bit chippy and a little bit flaky. But mostly it's kind of got all the good attributes that you look for in carving wood.
We got another caller coming in here. Caller, state your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, it's the Carving Wizard. I just want to know how Josh comes up with his ideas for his carvings.
All right, he's kind of low. He said, how does Josh come up with the ideas for his carvings? Thank you, Carving Wizard.
So hey Perry, thanks for calling in, buddy. Perry's just an awesome guy, veteran. We appreciate our veterans, so thank you.
I think he's on. Didn't I tell you you're on next week, Carving Wizard?
Yep, the 17th.
The 17th? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's so many Joshes. I got like 3 Joshes in my emails, and I'm like, oh crap, which one am I?
Yeah, okay. I'm glad my name's Perry.
Or Perry. Okay, all right. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, go ahead, sir.
My ideas, those come from a lot of different places. A lot of times I'll look for a design. Like, for example, when I carved my big eagle, I literally looked up probably half a dozen different eagle designs. I referenced real photographs of eagles. And so a lot of times I'll take elements of different designs. I'll take the beak out of one design and the feathers out of another design to complete, make a unique kind of a thing. And another thing is, a lot of times the customers will come up with great ideas. Somebody will come in and order something, and then before it's finished, somebody else will see it, and they'll, somebody else will order one. So some of the coolest designs have evolved like that. I would say the longer that you create, you get better at creative endeavor and creative process. And so somebody like Rhinestone Suzanne, I think, was a painter before she was a carver. And so she has this phenomenal skill right off the rip. I love to look at people like that and kind of examine it and see, wow, did somebody have like a ton of natural talent? Or were they more like me, where it was a lot of hard work and I had to evolve into getting better at what I do. But I think she was a painter before she was a carver. And so just the idea of being involved in that creative process on such a deep level that when you jump to another art form, I think it's almost like a musician. It's easy for them to jump to a different instrument. They already have a basic level and understanding of music. And so creative process and creative endeavor, I think from one art form to the other, it kind of builds.
So I have a question for you. And this might be a little off the wall or a little personal. I don't know, but I thought it was really cool. How awesome was it getting together, since you brought up Rhinestone Suzanne?
Yeah.
How awesome was it getting together with Bear and Suzanne and yourself at Michael S.'s house, just kind of going at it? I mean, what was that like?
It was really cool, Dylan. I mean, it was just, it was amazing. And it's kind of crazy. You meet these people online through YouTube and stuff. And I think when I first met Bear, I was surprised that he was actually a really nice guy. You know what I mean? I know what you see on his YouTube channel, on his live streams. He's that same person. And so it's really cool. It's neat to meet people that you click with and connect with. But Michael S. and Belinda and their daughter Brooklyn, they're just awesome people. So if it's possible, but it would be really cool.
I can totally see meeting Bear and realizing he really is as unhinged as he portrays. Yeah, he's just wide open all the time. That guy. I'm glad he doesn't drink or anything, because that guy would be crazy.
One thing I remember from from watching that video when you guys were there doing it. I believe it was live, and then going back and watching part of it. And maybe this is crazy, but the amount of love and passion that all three of you were putting into your different carvings. And I must have missed what you guys were doing until the end, where you put all three together.
Yeah, that was cool.
Bench. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty freaking cool.
Yep, that was cool.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. And honestly, I haven't really collaborated with other people as far as carving projects go. So that was kind of a first for me to, work with other carvers.
Now, do you ever, you mentioned how your experience level gets to a certain point and then it kind of just, bottoms out. Do you ever get to a point with a project or take on a project where you say, you know what, I just really want to go off the wall with this. I want to try something that I haven't done. And are you afraid to go over that one step, or do you welcome that type of challenge?
So I would say the first decade of my carving career, I really needed money. And so people would come in and order stuff. And when they would come in and order it, I would be a little nervous. How am I going to do this kind of a thing? But after they would leave, I would sort my way through it and figure it out. So that kind of nervousness about can I do it has kind of left. And that was something that plagued me, I would say, for the first decade. But what came out of that was the need for money, that I would take any order that came through the door, is that I became very well-rounded. I carved a lot of different stuff. People had all kinds of crazy ideas. And so that helped me as far as now. I don't think I'm really not necessarily intimidated.
I'm terrible with pronunciations. Palato Creations wants to know. Palato.
It's Palato.
Palato wants to see where they can see the collaborative carving. So that's on your page? Creative?
Yes.
Or is that okay?
That's
so
it's a lot.
Go over to Creationdust777 and just kind of pick through, and you'll see all of them getting together and making it's an awesome bench. I was like, wow. I didn't even know what was going on. I think I jumped in the middle. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
I believe Michael S. just shared that video in the chat, and it should be a clickable link. So, hey, real quick, if you guys have not subscribed to Creationdust777, please go subscribe to them, because you won't be disappointed. And any channels in chat, if you want to share your link, the rule. Everybody is allowed to share their links and click on other people's links and get some subscribers.
Absolutely. All right, so I want to make a suggestion. And look, it's just me because I'm an old guy or whatever. To your videographer, you can go live horizontal. You don't have to go live. It's in the beginning when you set it up. Yeah, and the horizontal puts the black stuff on either side. You can go live horizontal, and it fills up the whole screen.
Okay, Russ, Well, let me ask you. My understanding of that, because Bear and I have talked a little bit about this. For whatever reason, the algorithm doesn't put the video out when you do it horizontal to as many people or as much.
I don't know. I possibly, but it wouldn't seem like they would give you that option if that was a thing. Because when you go to set it up, it says horizontal or vertical. I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. I don't even have 100 subscribers. Okay, so don't listen to anything that I say. It's just I hate the black bars on either side. It just seems like it limits you. To me, I don't know.
Well, when people are flipping up through the live streams, through the live feed,
Right.
Like if you're watching Bear and the Boss Lady and you flip up, there's another live right there. So that's the vertical live streams. I think if you do the horizontal live stream, you're not in that vertical feed where people are flipping through. So you get
Yeah.
less exposure.
So the Vineyard Farmhouse just said when you go vertical, it puts it in the shorts feeds, and that's why you get a lot of views.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Whatever. They're dumb. Those idiots over at YouTube, they don't know what the hell they're doing. If they just let me run the place, it would be better. All right. So whatever.
Awesome. Well, we are going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this up because I want to be respectful to Josh's time. Rusty has to go, and I think
Yes.
this is a good spot to end it. So-
Let me throw a couple things out there, Deland. Yes, I'm fixing to jump over to Beaver After Dark. It is not family friendly. It is adult only content. Beaver After Dark. You know, we try to have fun over there, but if you have a weak stomach or morals, you probably don't want to watch it. I'm just saying. This is new. Go to look up your daily hello. Your daily hello with Leprechaun. It's a short little thing he puts out every day. Start your day with your daily hello. Just search that, you'll find it. I'm telling you, he's a great guy. He puts this stuff out every day. Your daily hello and Beaver After Dark. Whatever. All right.
All right, Rusty. See you later.
I'm out.
All right.
Later, Rusty.
So we have a lot of really cool guests coming up in the next few weeks. So I hope you guys stick around, and I won't forget to send them a link like I did Josh. That was my bad. Life has been a little crazy, and I forgot to send the link out, but that was my fault. But yeah, we've got a lot of good channels coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And I just want to say thank you very much for being here and watching and supporting each other. And if there's channels out there you haven't subscribed to, please do. That's why we do this, because we want to support everybody. And one more subscriber is better than not one more. That probably didn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. So, but thank you guys very much. Thank you for being here. Josh, don't leave. We're going to go backstage for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. So thank you guys, and have a good week.
Have a good night, everybody.